Hi there. My name is Erin Campbell with Beacon Financial Strategies, and I thought I would take a few minutes today to talk about whether or not you should consider a Roth conversion. A Roth conversion is something we have clients ask us about all the time. It is also something that prospective clients ask us about. And so I thought it would be a good idea to sit down and talk exactly what a Roth conversion was. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was, well, what is a Roth conversion? It's when you take a distribution from a taxable IRA or a traditional IRA, pay taxes on it, and convert it into your Roth IRA. And you'll say, well, why does this matter? Well, a Roth IRA we think are pretty fabulous. We think they're fabulous because they are tax exempt. In other words, investments inside of a Roth IRA grow and you don't have to pay income tax on it as they grow. You're also never required to take an actual required minimum distribution from this type of account. Also, when you do take a distribution, it'll be tax free. So you can take money out, but you will not have to pay taxes on it. And when your heirs inherit a Roth IRA, they will have to take a distribution, but it won't be subject to income tax. So overall, we really like Roth IRAs and we try to figure out ways for clients to actually get money inside of a Roth. And a lot of times, a Roth conversion is the only way you can do it after you've quit working. And so you heard me say that when you take distribution from the traditional IRA, you have to pay income tax. And you might want to say, well, why would you ever want to accelerate your income tax? And the reason why you would want to at least consider it is if you believe that you'll be in a higher tax bracket in the future. That may be because your income is higher. It may be because you believe that income taxes will be higher just overall. You may also want to reduce your required minimum distributions. If you have a pretty large IRA, then you're going to have to take pretty significant RMDs from that account. And when you take that out, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. And so you're trying to reduce the distributions in the future. And also, like I said before, it's a great family planning mechanism because your heirs will not have to pay income tax. And so it can protect them from having a huge tax bill once they inherit the account. Well, who should consider these Roth conversions? Well, there's a couple of different things that we look for. One is you're temporarily in a lower tax bracket. Maybe you've had a job change, you've retired, you're taking a lower paying job, maybe you're taking a few years off from a job before you go back to work again. So, those are times when you may want to consider a Roth conversion. You may have bigger deductions than you normally would have. Maybe your medical expenses are high, or you have a higher than normal charitable expense in a year. Well, that would be a year when we'd want to maybe generate a little income to offset those deductions. And a taxable Roth conversion might be the idea. For me, I believe that the ideal window is kind of after retirement, but before you take Social Security and before your required minimum distributions begin. Required minimum distributions are going to be that's when you have to take money from your IRA. That's going to be age 73 for most people. However, if you were born after 1960, it's 75. So they're changing the rules all the time. So it's something to kind of keep up with. But for me, I believe the ideal window is kind of after retirement, but before age 73. The next question I get a lot is, well, how much should I convert? And I'm kind of hesitant to ever tell someone to take an entire IRA account and move it into a Roth IRA. Um, Rather, I think it's a good idea to kind of take small chunks out of your IRA, small distributions, maybe over multiple years, and doing small amounts over multiple years can really make a huge difference in building up that Roth IRA account. The other thing I like to look at is maximizing the tax bracket you're currently in. So maybe you're in the 10 or 12% tax bracket. Maybe we take it up to the top of that bracket, but try not to go into the next bracket. And so that's kind of how I sit here and calculate it. Um, Another question I get from a ton of people is, well, why can't you just tell me exactly how much I should convert over, say, the next 3 to 5 years? And what I typically tell people is, well, that's pretty much impossible. There's a couple of things that play, really a lot of different things that play. One is your life circumstances. So you might have a change in your circumstance, marriage, divorce, death of a spouse. It could be health problems. It could be selling stock. It could be selling real estate. Just the general market fluctuations, interest and dividends coming out of taxable accounts, just all these different things. They're all playing into your tax return, and it makes it extremely complicated. And it's the timing of those things. when did it happen, or did it happen at the beginning of the year, the end of the year, and or over 2 years and things like that. Also, the tax law is very, very fluid. I mean, we have seen this over the last several years. New deductions are introduced, laws are completely thrown out and rewritten, or things are sunsetting or starting in a couple of years, or this and that. So it's just extremely hard. The timing of everything is extremely hard. So preferably, we want to do it for 1 year, and that's this year. Um, so we're looking right now, at the current year, and we're wanting to do this kind of at the end of the year, September, October, November. We think that's the best time to be thinking about a Roth conversion. By then, we kind of know, what your income has looked like year to date, what we expect to happen over the next several months, and it's easier for us to calculate exactly what the Roth conversion should be. So the one thing to keep in mind is you have to make sure your Roth conversion is complete by the end of the year. So typically, like I said, we're going to look at this at the end of the year, the fall of the year, make sure it's complete before the end of the year so that you can take advantage of this nifty thing called a Roth conversion. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're happy to talk more about it. Thanks so much and have a great day.